Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm actually going to be going over forms today, how to accept inputs from forms and how to set up a basic form. I'm not going to go into major details of setting form in HTML, but I will show you a few tricks that you can do that will allow you to still support pulling down that data. So let's get started. I'm going to open up a new PHP file. Mine's basics 10. As you can see here, it's blank. So I'm actually going to start it off with a variable that's going to automatically be marked as false. Show form equal false. Actually, we're going to mark it as true since I'm going to make it just be able to show form. Okay. Then down below it, I'm going to actually do an if here. I'm going to make it now if true show form if show form. Okay. So in my if, I'm just going to do if show form. And that. And as you can tell, I ended my brackets. I need to go down here, start PHP, and in that. If I wanted to do something else after it says it's true, then we can go down here and do an else, and I'm going to have to do that. Basically, what I'm going to do is it's going to display the form when you first show it, and if the form is all correct or it receives the data, it's not going to show the form, instead it's going to output some information. That information is unknown at the moment since we don't know what we have for our form. So let's start off with the basic form. So we're going to go method. And we're going to go post. I like to go post because post sends it in the background or adds extra data to the server, while get will address it in the URL. And I'll show you the differences between those after I set this up. Action. And since I'm going to be going to the same page, I'm just going to name it basics 10.php. And that's going into our form tag. Now inside our form, we need to set up some data. So I'm going to go p tag. We're going to go name. Input, type, text, and we're going to go name is name. I just want to get somebody's name for my form. Value, we don't need anything. And then nice new thing that they've added in HTML5 is placeholder. First and last name. Okay. And that p tag. And let's go, what else would we use? Let's do a radio here. UL LI input type. We're gonna go radio. Reason why I'm using radio is gonna be for selecting a gender. You can actually use a drop down for that too, but I'm gonna show you a radio here. Name, gender, value, male, and as you can tell, I can't spell male. And then we're going to go male. Cool thing to do is use label. We're going to go for, and we're going to go G underline male. I'll set that up here. Meantime, that means I need to set an ID right here of G underline male. This will allow me to click the male name and it'll auto select that radio. LI, and let's just copy this line here so I don't have to type that out every single time. As you can tell, all their names are saved. If you're using radios and you want them to only select one radio, you use the same name here. And we're going to change this to female. And we're going to change this to unknown. And we're going to actually make this one selected. So we're going to go checked. There we go. Unknown. Unknown. So make it auto select a label already to make sure that they don't bypass it here. Okay. And let's go drop down. What should we do for a drop down? We'll just go year born. So birth date. P. Birth date. Birthday. We'll just set birthday there. I'm just going to set up a fake drop down here. It's not going to have a lot. It's just going to have the months in it, or a couple months. So we're going to go select name, birthday. That's what I want it to be. And we're going to go option value April. And if you don't set a value in it, it'll go with whatever's in between the options here too. Option value. Well, we'll do this. We go April, but we want to send it 04, 05. May. And let's just set December in there. Option value 12. December. Okay. Now, one last thing that we're missing from our form is the submit button here. So I'm going to go ptag input type submit. There's two different ways you can do this. You can do this way. This is the older way of doing this. Value send the data is what we're just going to name it. I don't have to set a name to this if I don't need to. The other way that you can do is right here. You can go button. You can go type submit. You can go name if you really wanted to. You can go value if you want to. It's the same thing. It's just a newer functionality that you can do with HTML5. Or send name it send data. Or give it the value of send data. And then this one we want it to display send my data. Alright. Just to show you the two differences between these two, where you have the input submit, that's actually the text button is going to actually say send data. While you use button and you have the value of send data, it's going to display send my data as a text. And I'll show you that in the page here. Alright, let's open this up. Alright, see, send data, send my data. As you can tell, it says first name and last name. That's what the placeholder does for you. And then you have my multiple radios right here, they're all with the same name, and actually some with all the same value. So let me fix that real quick. That would not be useful in testing. Change everything except their values. Okay, so if I refresh here, unknown is default selected. I can click male, I can click female. Female is not loaded correctly because I didn't set female. There we go. Alright, so refresh page. Okay. So if I click female, I can click male, choose my gender or whatever I want to do there. Actually, I didn't do that. Gender. There we go. That should help break that a little bit down. So I have my name. I can go Garrett. I don't want to set my last name, so I'm just going to forget it here. And then I'm going to choose Mel. I'm going to choose April. That's why they usually do separate boxes so they can verify that you set them both your first name and last name. And then you can click Send Data. Now, Send Data doesn't do anything because I haven't set anything up for it over here. The way to set that up is, I'm going to go, actually before I set that all up, I would like to go over the post and get. Right now I just did post, so send data, you don't know what I sent other than what should have been in the form. Now, if I use get here, let's refresh this page. If you click refresh, it'll say you submit data. Do you want to try doing that again? So I'm on this page. Let's just go Garrett. Let's leave it at April. Now, as you see in the URL, it just says basics 10. If I click send my data, it's going to say basics 10, and then it's going to give me name is equal. So name refers back to the first form. Then you have gender, which refers back to the second form, and or second field in the form. And then birthday goes to the third. That's what get does. It pushes it all in the URL so you can pull it out. And I'll show you how to pull out gets. I'll show you how to pull out post. Actually, I'm going to leave it here at get first and show you how to pull this data. So in my form, if is set is what we're going to do first. Get. Because I want to pull out a value. If is set, let's go with name. And if it is set, and so we know it's set. Now we need to verify if it's not empty. So if it's not empty, get name. Continue. Now, what do I have wrong here? I have one parentheses, have the other parentheses, and I did not close out my tag. There we go. Okay, so right now what I'm doing is my get set, and is it not empty? So, if it's not empty, we're just going to go echo true for right now. So, refresh, true. Okay, so if I go back to the basic page here, I go send my data, I don't get true. That's because name was blank, so it equaled nothing. That's my basic form check. Now, since I know my name is set, okay, well, what about my gender? So, if is set, gender, you don't have to do is if set, but if you don't want to have any errors in your code in case the value doesn't get sent or a form gets changed, it's better to have the is set, especially if it's required data. And name, gender sometimes becomes required data, and it's nice to be able to find that out. So we're going to go if is set gender And if it's not empty, but now I'm just trying to verify my data that's here. And the reason why I'm breaking out each one is just to be able to, if you want to do an error report, you can say, oh, gender's missing. This is wrong. Or name, you left blank. Please fill in. And those basic errors that you can get. So we can go get. And we're just going to go gender again. Okay. And echo true gender. And I'm just having all these go to the same line, so you don't see a lot of true gender and then so on. So refresh again. I click send data. Okay, gender didn't show up because it's inside. So my first primary field wasn't found. You can break these out separately into each one, but I'm just trying to do a kind of branching it down as I solve my issue. So let's go and set my name in and send data. So I know my name is set. I know my gender is set. Now the next thing is birthday. Birthday can't really not be set in this case. But I can still validate that it is getting sent the correct data. A lot of times people will try to break forms and try to send false data down the line. So, okay, I know my gender is there. If is set. And I'm just going to check and make sure that's there. And what do I name it? Birthday. Plus, okay, and is numeric. Oh, yeah. Thing I already set it to a value, and I did not. Birthday. And I set way too many of those. Echo true birthday. Okay. Let's click refresh here. Now I got my true birthday. So I know my birthday is numeric, which it should be, since I use 0, 4, 0, 5, and 12. So that should definitely be numeric. My gender is being sent, and I know my name is being filled in. Now the next thing to do is echo it out and make it not display any of this. So we're going to go here. No, I'm going to remove all these trees here, and actually I'm going to send an else. We're actually going to go else here, else if, because since I set it up where it gets name and checking if it's set, and if it's empty, it will automatically always return an else unless I submitted my data. In this case, I want to make sure it has been submitted before I start throwing any errors. So I'm going to go if is set get name again. You can actually validate this off a different submit. If I change the submit box to have a name on it, I can check, make sure that submit button was submitted, because it should always be submitted. Okay, let's just make sure that's set up right. Is set. Okay, so basically what it's going to do is if name is set, okay, now is it empty? If it's empty, well, sorry, we can't go ahead. Now, it's going to check to see if it's still set, so it can throw this error because it can continue the first check or first if statement or statement I've created in general. So echo name missing. Okay, now I'm going to go over here. I'm just going to set an else here because I know for sure that I already have my data submitted. That's what my first check was for. It's making sure my name and my data was submitted. Now the next one I just need to go, oh, well, it didn't match its criteria. Else echo, and we're going to go gender missing. And how can a gender go missing? Quite easily, and I'll show you how that breaks, especially when you use a get. Okay, and let's go with the last one here. I'm trying to make sure I set this up right here for you. Nope. Okay. Echo birthday not found. Okay. So now I have my basic check. So if I click refresher, nothing's going to pop up as an error. Now the last thing I want to do right here is make show form equal false. And then I want this to display some data. So we're going to go p tag. I'm going to go name. Let's just pull that data here. And as you can tell, I keep on using get. I haven't actually set any of these values to a variable that I can use in general. I'm just trying to do this a little bit quick and simple. And copy, paste, and paste. Okay, we're going to go gender here. And then we're going to go birthday, gender, birthday. Click refresh. Okay, so now if I click refresh, poof, I have no form anymore. That's the whole point of the show form, is to just toggle that form off and on. Now, what I was talking about is throwing an error quite easily. You can go right here and go birthday, gone. Oh, now I get an error. Birthday's missing. That's get right there. I just changed my address bar. I know what it submitted, so I'm going to modify it myself. You can go right here and change gender. Just make it empty. Well, there's an error. Gender is missing. It's blank. Now I can go over here on birthday and say April, and let's go gender here, female. And you might add more checks than just what I have. Oh, birthday not found because I typed in April. I didn't type in a number. I typed in April. So if I go 0.2222, that's actually a number. So I need a better check off of that to make sure it's a rounded number with no decimal in it. So that's the basics of how you use a get. I'll continue in the next tutorial on how to use form posts and requests that's in PHP. So hope you guys had a great time enjoying this and learning a little bit something new, and I'll get back to you. Have a good one.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a comment or like below. If you want to keep up with all activities on the channel, click subscribe. And if you would like to watch another video, there's some videos listed down below here, and thanks for watching.